My name's Mike Burke. I'm the VP of Corporate Development with Sitka Gold and a director of the company. My background, I'm a geologist. I worked most of my career up in the Yukon, 20 years with the Yukon Geological Survey, so very familiar with the geology and pretty easy for me to join the Sitka Gold team. I first visited the RC Gold project in, well, I'm going to date myself, 1992, when some of the first exploration was beginning up there. So it's a great project and fun to be involved on it in the industry side. So I'm a geologist, so I always like to make forward-looking statements. I'm an optimist. But just an introduction to Sitka Gold. We have a number of projects. Our RC Gold project is by far our biggest focus up in the Yukon, but we have the Alpha Gold project that's in the Cortez Trend in Nevada. It's about 40 kilometers south of the Cortez Mines Complex. Burrow Creek, that's an epithermal gold silver deposit in Nevada. It's got a historical resource on it of 5 million ounces of silver, no, 100 million ounces of silver, 120,000 ounces of gold. And the Coppermine River project up in Nunavut, that's a surface discovery, copper silver, never been drilled. All these projects are 100% owned, so low carrying costs, and they're all fully permitted for drilling. But our focus, of course, is the RC Gold project that sits there in the Yukon. This is the Tombstone Gold Belt, offset by the Tintina Fault. Original discovery in the Tombstone Gold Belt was Fort Knox over in Alaska. When that was discovered in the 80s, that was back when I worked for the Yukon Survey. A lot of people, including Robert Friedland, started coming over and exploring in the Yukon and making some of these discoveries here. I didn't discover Valley Gold. Snowline Gold is in the eastern part of the belt, making that discovery of Valley, which has really changed the narrative for these reduced intrusion related gold deposits. They're typically bulk tonnage, low grade deposits. Fort Knox, for instance, is mining 0.3 grams per ton. Eagle Gold was mining 0.6 grams per ton. Valley Gold somewhere north of about 1.2 grams per ton. And our one deposit, the Blackjack, the grade there is 0.83. So we're starting to see higher grade deposits being discovered within these rocks. So the prize has just gotten a little bit bigger. We're in the guts of the Tombstone Gold Belt. Dawson City just sits up here off the map. That's the Klondike Highway, goes down to Whitehorse. We access our property by flying into Dawson. We drive usually, but you can fly into Dawson. 737s fly there, taking tourists usually. But it's a 2-hour drive from Dawson City to our project. The power line runs up the highway, so it's very quick and easy to get in our project. Down the road, if there's a mine here, you can fly the crews direct in from down south, and we'd obviously have people living in Dawson as well. But this part of the belt's seen placer mining since the late 1800s. A lot of development in there, a lot of placer mining, so it's the most accessible part of the Tombstone Gold Belt in Yukon. This is the Eagle Gold Mine, sits to our east about 50 kilometers. There's Sitka Gold. Banyon's down in here, Hekla's Keno Hill Silver Mine, and then Brewery Creek, former producing mine. So within this area, in the last phase of exploration, which started in 2020, there's been 11 million ounces of additional resources added to the basin here. Overall, there's about 20 million ounces contained in different deposits within this area. So it's really grown in the last few years, and I think the significance of it is getting recognized. Again, just looking at the grades of some of the different deposits in there, you can see our combined grades of our two deposits is 0.68, so it's a little higher grade than is typically seen in the mining at Eagle or Fort Knox. There's our initial deposit that was put out, that pit-constrained inferred resource in January of 2023. That was based on a couple of years of drilling. The Blackjack deposit at a grade or a cutoff grade of 0.25, about 34 million tons at 0.83 grams per ton, so 900,000 ounces. Eiger's more typical, 440,000 ounces at a grade of 0.5. So you combine those and you get the 1.34 million ounces. We focused obviously on the higher grade of those two deposits in the last couple years. The initial resource outlined in that black, that's the surface 0.25 gram per ton grade shell, on the Blackjack was about 7,500 meters of drilling in 22 holes. We've drilled 2 seasons since then, and we've gotten up to about 14 to 15,000 meters of additional drilling, mainly focused in this southern part, the southern extension of the Blackjack deposit and to depth. So we've doubled the amount of drilling approximately since that initial resource was put out. So this is the old leapfrog model. You're looking to the north. That's the 0.25 gram per ton grade shell and the drilling. This drilling is coming to the south and at depth. So you can see the deposit continues to plunge steeply to the southeast. This is hole 68. We were hoping to have the results out in a press release this week for this conference, but alas, the lab failed us, and those results are very, very close at hand, so we should have a press release coming in the next week. But that hole, we drilled down the plunge of the deposit to try and test it at depth and see the continuity of mineralization. We had over 40 occurrences of visible gold, most visible gold we've seen in a drill hole, and the last visible gold, first stuff we saw at 4.5 meters, the last stuff was at 680. So that, mineralization continues to depth, and then we poked out of the zone. So it's open to depth and to the south. We've always wanted to get back to the Eiger, but the Blackjack has produced great results for us over the last couple of years. So we will get in here and start testing the Blackjack. You can see it's a little higher in elevation. Maybe there's potential to increase the grade down at depth. And there's an intervening zone here, the Saddle, where we've hit up to 80 meters at 1.21 grams per ton. So a lot of potential just in this part of the belt here. This is looking to the east, just at the Blackjack. So again, you can see that kind of steeply dipping plunge to where we're seeing the mineralization continue. And the purple is the higher grade assays. So you can see, classic geologist statement, grades increasing with depth, but if your eyesight's pretty good, you can see there's a lot more purple down there at depth. We've continued to hit really good long intersections with some pretty nice grades in them. So this table just shows the plus 100 gram meter intersections. On the left, that table is drill holes that were included in that initial resource. You can see hole 24, whichever one it is in there. From 16 meters depth, the subinterval there was over 2 grams, 66 meters. So there's a high grade component to this higher grade deposit that we've intersected right at surface. And you can see some of the deeper holes like 62 were, down at 426 meters where we hit over 100 meters at 1.7 grams per ton. So the grades, appears to be increasing at depth, and it's very strong. The inferred resource was pit constrained. We're obviously drilling deeper than the limits of an open pit, so looking like a combination open pit underground kind of target. Obviously, with these additional holes, the resource is expanding, and the grade is holding up, and in some cases, our best holes have been outside of that initial resource. So we're drilling till the end of October. We're drilling right now up there with 2 drills. We'll continue till the end of the month and then let the results all trickle in, and then potentially look at upgrading our resource in the next, over the winter here. So this is just that hole 68 that hit the abundant visible gold. Again, drilling down the plunge of the deposit, poked out of the area down at the bottom. So it's an impressive hole. Everybody wanted to log that one. So it shows that the deposit's got a nice continuity down it and extends to the depth. That was 200 meters below any previous drilling. So it's still open for quite a ways. And some of our drilling subsequent to 68 is looking at kind of stepping out from that and defining it a bit better down deep. This is our property this summer. This blue is the Victoria Gold held the Clear Creek property. This property historically has seen the most exploration in this district until Sitka Gold got involved and acquired the rest of the ground, made the discovery of the Blackjack and the Eiger up to the north. There's a cluster of 8 intrusions here called the Clear Creek Intrusive Complex. We purchased that property in June of 2024, this last year, same day that Victoria Gold's heap leach project failed, but we consolidated the property. I think obviously Victoria Gold's situation overshadowed the importance of this acquisition, but the market's figuring it out now. There's a lot of great targets on there. I've visited this property and know about the drilling in the past. Gilles Desereau, our project geologist, did the drilling for Golden Predator back here in 2011 and 2012. So we knew the significance of acquiring this ground. Took us 2 years to negotiate the deal, so we closed it just in the nick of time. So it really lets us control the entire Clear Creek district with this cluster of intrusions and be able to apply the knowledge of the exploration and our mineral targeting that we've done in the last couple of years to this entire package. So a few of the targets down here, Rosgobble Stock, it's the southernmost and largest intrusion. It's 5 kilometers to the south of the Blackjack deposit. There's a big structure that kind of connects the two zones. This was drilled shallow reverse circulation drilling in 1995 by Kennecott. Kennecott left the territory in 1996, so nobody has followed up on that drilling until we've done 2 diamond drill holes. First diamond drill holes ever into this entire intrusive. And we're pretty happy we intersected, again, a bunch of visible gold in that. There's other zones. This is soil geochem in the background. Pukelman Stock, the southern contact. It's called the contact zone. Some great results by Golden Predator back in 2011 and 12. Pukelman Stock itself hasn't been drilled since 1992. Noranda put a couple holes in there. We're following up on that. We've got a drill in there right now. So we've drilled 2 of the lesser advanced kind of intrusive targets on that ground that we acquired. So we're pretty excited about that. And then there's other zones, including the Bear Paw Breccia and the contact, as I mentioned, and other areas of soil geochem that we've done a bunch of additional soil geochem mapping in other areas of this property. So it really gives us control of the district. It has, now we've got the Blackjack and Eiger deposit that aren't closed off. More work to do there. Saddle in between. Pukelman Stock, contact zone. There's Pukelman West hiding in here along that structure. Rosgobble. We've got a lot of optionality and scalability to the project because these intrusion-related gold deposits. If you look at Fort Knox, Victoria Gold, Snowline, Freeport, or Free Gold over in Alaska. These are multi-million ounce deposits potentially in each of these intrusions. So to control this whole district and have all these intrusions with known gold mineralization is a pretty fun project to work on. So we're happy we've acquired that ground. This is the Rosgobble holes. Again, this is the Kennecott drilling. These 2 holes went to 60 meters and 70 meters depth, ran a gram per ton over their entire length, ended in mineralization. We scissored a couple holes. The stars are visible gold. We're 250 meters below the depth of that drilling. So yeah, pretty fun to follow up on. This is some of the other Kennecott drilling. Again, they've hit widespread mineralization. Any of the red boxes are intercepts over a gram per ton. So that's our Yukon project. It's our focus. I'll just quickly go through some of our other projects that aren't our core assets, but they're significant projects in themselves. Low carrying cost, 100% owned. So this is the Alpha Gold. There's Cortez Hills, Gold Rush. We're only 40 kilometers to the south. Scott Price, as a Nevada geologist, brought this project to us. He's worked here for Kinross and other companies, felt that the mapping was wrong in here and that the equivalent stratigraphy that hosts the deposits to the north existed on the Alpha Gold project. So we've drilled the upper part of that stratigraphy. It's called the Horse Canyon equivalent that hosts some of the deposits to the north. The main ore host, the Wenban formation, is deeper down. We haven't drilled that yet. But in all our drilling in that upper stratigraphy, we've intersected gold mineralization. This is wide space drilling, helped us define the geology structures on this property. So it's really, driving the exploration. But again, we're in no rush here. We know that there's a big prize if you can find a Carlin-style deposit. So we'll look at ways of monetizing this, whether we target that deeper mineralization ourselves or let somebody else come in and do it, or spin out, who knows, many options. But the nice part is we own it 100%, so no panic. This is Burke Creek. It's down in Arizona. The little gray part in there is private claims, so it's privately owned land. The Burke Creek vein, it's an epithermal gold-silver vein that is on that property, has a historical resource on it. It's right only a mile off the highway. The vein extends to the edge of the private land, and then it's onto the BLM land. We just received the drill permit there in the spring, so it's good to go. There's where it sticks out of the hillside. And so again, easy to drill this, reconfirm that historical resource as well as expand it onto that BLM land. This is up in Nunavut, the copper mine. Copper mine's well known for the mineralization up there. BHP, a few other companies are working up there. Aston Bay just put out some drill results this morning. So it's a new discovery, not far off the old Northwest Passage, so things can go north instead of a long way south. This was a discovery made by Corco, our CEO, and Don Penner, our president. Sediment-hosted mineralization comes right to surface, 14% copper, 2 ounces of silver. Done some geophysics over there, shows that mineralization looks like a gravity high in there. Traced mineralization to the south and north, a couple kilometers. Never been drilled, pretty easy target to go test. So this is something as well, 100% owned in our back pocket. Advisory board, Craig Hart's on our advisory board. He's the chair at Snowline. We've got a strong technical board at Sitka Gold. There's some of our faces if you really want to look at them. And certainly the grades that we've been hitting in our most recent drilling this last summer, the acquisition of the rest of the Clear Creek intrusive complex has started to gain us market attention. So we're one of the rare juniors that has seen an appreciation in our share price, especially in the last few months here. We've got good support by institutions and starting to obviously get more coverage from other folks. So we're a pretty happy crew. We have $10 million in the bank, so we're well financed. So catalyst, next year we can really fully evaluate this Clear Creek property, look at expanding our deposits, and hopefully we're announcing new discoveries and additional deposits. Thanks.